Now, when people say, what are you farming? I'd say we're farming ideas, you know.
Grew up I won't say I grew up in farms, I grew up in the town, but I grew up with a farming mentality. We were vegetable growers, and I always thought this would make a beautiful open farm. My grandmother was born here, my mother was born here, but it had gone to my granduncle, and Barna was going up for sale, and my sister said to me, you know, if you want it. She planted a seed in my head, and for about a year that went around and around in my head, and one day I called my sister and said, is Barna still for sale? When I got it, it was 20 acres of grassland, basically. And within this 5-mile radius, there's not a lot of trees growing by the sea, and we're less than a mile as a crow flies from the sea. So we've mostly ash and alder as the established trees. I think Lisa came up with an idea, then my partner, to let's just put half of the land into a native woodland.
We've 19 acres here, it's certified organic land. We've done various things over the years. We used to have cattle, we had sheep, we had lots of different things. But now, when people say, what are you farming? I'd say we're farming ideas, you know? And, you know, because I really feel like we're Rena's a photographer, I'm an artist, and there's something about creativity. And when we're talking about big things like climate change and biodiversity loss, I really feel that the thing that we can contribute, as well as having land here, is the creative side of it, and thinking about ideas and giving people space to think and be amongst the trees and maybe imagine the future that we want to see. I'm here with Rena 18 years, and I really was thinking about carbon sequestration and what can we do for the planet, and it seemed to me the trees were the way to go. So I had been trying to convince Rena that that's what we needed to do, and that's really hard for Rena because 5 generations of her family grew up here, and I suppose would associate this land with farming in a traditional sense. First of all, we met with Ger Maroney just to check the land, because he thought we couldn't plant trees here. He said, like, you're too close to the sea. But then when he came and he saw that our neighbour had planted 50 acres of native woodland, and that had done really well over the last 20 years, they knew that we had a shelter belt. So that was the first thing, to check out the land. Then he did all the paperwork, so they had to apply for planning permission. And there has been an issue with, you know, getting planning for woodland, but we were really lucky that ours went through. And so that was actually a very quick process. And then within 6 months, the lads were here with the diggers, and then they came and they planted all the trees. And as I said, I think it was all done within a week. So there was no disruption to us, you know, it was very easy. And then you get your premium. So the premium gets paid once a year. Again, Greenbelt did all the paperwork on that. I suppose I didn't realise about, you know, we need to be growing our own trees in Ireland, because what's happening is a lot of times we're importing trees, and that's causing disease to our native stock. And the other thing was just basic things like, I didn't realise that bindweed was such a problem for trees, but there is going to be work in it. And that is something just to be aware of, that it's not something that's just left. So it does require a little bit of care. We've only 5 species in this. So we have birch, we have oak, we have Scots pine, we have hawthorn, and we have rowan. And we had a lot of self-seeding alder. I remember Martin, who was planting the trees, said to me, so where are they going? I was like, Martin, this is a 300-year-old decision. I wasn't expecting to have to make it today. And he was like, don't sit on the fence, like, you have to make a decision now. We made decisions like for light, because we were aware that it comes quite close to our house. So we put some of the hawthorns and rowan trees up near the house, where we have a really nice view. Again, we planted trees that maybe wouldn't grow so tall, but we really wanted a sense of it being a mixed woodland. So we really, so that was it. It was just to try and mix it up as well as possible. I think they only need to replace 100 trees here out of 10,000. So I think there's a lot to be said for, you know, planting in land that maybe people might see as neglected, but actually that's the land where the mycelium is intact in the soil, and the trees just go in and they have a network.
If I'm ever proud of anything that we've done in our lifetime, is that we're going to leave this little 10 acres of native woodland to the next generations coming on.
I've done a lot of work with farmers and over the years, and my sense is that we're all really caretakers and guardians of land. Since we joined kind of the EU and everything, there's been this big drive towards industrial farming and fertilizer into land and trying to get as much from the land as possible. most farmers that I know just want to do the best for their land. They want to do the best for nature. And it is a really hard decision to do. It's like a U-turn. You're after being told for 50 years, plant, grow more, fertilize more, and grow grass essentially. So to ask people to shift from that is often really hard. But in my experience, most farmers are just like, what can I do for my children and my grandchildren? What is it that we could do for the future generations and our ancestors to come? Trees make a lot of sense.